A lot of people ask me the question, what is the first thing you do when you go into somebody's Infusionsoft account? Oftentimes they have things like, I'm not getting the open rate I want. Um, they have no idea how many contacts they can even email in their database. Sometimes they'll actually lead with, well, I have 23,000 contacts in my database. And I'll ask them, well, how many of those can you actually send emails to? And they won't know. These are things that are very important and are significant to reporting, right? So if you have 23,000 contacts in your database and you can only email 2,000, then really you only have 2,000 emails that you can market to via well, not even SMS, via email. Okay, so I'm going to show you this report. This report that you're looking at is a consolidation of a couple contact searches and also an email status report under your marketing section. And I'll show you how to get to that here in a second. But I want to show you a summary. This is the email report that we give to a lot of our clients. First, you got to know how many contacts are in the database. That's great. Then how many of those contacts have emails? How many people you can actually send emails to? But not even that, because if you have emails for them, are they hard bounced? Which down here you can see there's a hard bounce. Hard bounces are no longer sending the emails, are no longer sending your emails to those addresses. After the ISP or the server bounces it so many times, it will stop sending. So 1,200 are not sending. Okay? And there are a lot of things they could have opted out. Even though they have an email, they could have opted out. So in the end, you can see here, there's an able to send emails piece that we have, which is 18,000. So out of the 21,000 emails they have, they can only really send to 18,000. And none of this information is real, by the way. This is all just duped information. Something doesn't add up somewhere, don't worry about it. It's all dupe. So if we come over here, you can see our email status. This is the information that we're going to get from Infusionsoft. If you look at here, non-marketable, 200, double opt-in, single opt-in. I think there are two things that are really important on this list right here. It is important to figure out, how many people are unsubscribing, providing feedback, reporting spam, even opting out. This is really important in hard bounces. But I found this to be a very significant metric, and that is engagement more than 6 months. This person has 7,000 people who have not opened or clicked an email in the last 6 months. Right? 7,000 is a lot. Even if you take that 7,000 actually and you put it towards the 18,000 they are, that's almost, that's more than 33, so 40%. You're almost guaranteed a 30 to 40% that is not going to open it every time. Now, it's not in your best interest to be sending emails to people who don't open it for long periods of time. Certainly a lot of these people like Gmail, Yahoo, they don't like it. And we do know they're keeping track of whenever you're sending emails to their people. Possibly going to spam. That's not going to help your deliverability in the future. If all your emails are going to spam, these ESPs can see that. They're like, well, a lot of their stuff goes to spam. It's certainly not helping you, right? And so oftentimes I tell people, look, they haven't opened it more than 6 months, years. Sometimes I've seen it where people haven't opened it for 3 years, they're still sending it to them. I don't know if it's actually going to their inbox if they haven't opened an email for 3 years. Okay? So at that point, sometimes it's better not to send to them anymore. And it will give you a more realistic view of your open rates. So I think it's really healthy to do an email hygiene report on your database and to figure out how many people you're actually sending to, right? And how many people you're sending to that it will actually help, right? So sometimes we'll actually just take these more than 6 months, 3 years type people, and we will no longer send to them. So let me go to Infusionsoft. I want to show you where you can get this report if you're looking for it. Okay, here's Infusionsoft. You're going to go top left-hand corner. You're going to move all the way under Marketing Reports. Click here. It's called the Email Status Search. All right, and here are our options. You can see there are a ton of options here. I will give you the definitions. If you go to the blog, you'll see the definitions. It's basically a link to Infusionsoft's Help Center, where they will actually give you their definitions, which are a lot longer, but that's fine. Here you can see that you have opt-outs, opt-out admin, opt-out system, list, unsubscribe, provide feedback, report. I mean, in the end, like you can select multiple. So I'm like, well, anyone who has these, they basically have told me they don't want to receive my stuff anymore. All right, so that's a good report. If I click, it's going to show me all those contacts, how many contacts, right? And if they opted out, if they list unsubscribed or provided feedback, it will show me all that. So you can do a ton of these reports, makes it really easy to figure out. I like to use an Excel sheet, kind of like this. And as I'm doing the reports, I like to put it in here so I can see it all in one place, right? Infusionsoft will give you the list, but it's not going to give you something that looks like this, which I wish it did, but it doesn't. Okay. The way that I got, total contacts in databases is pretty simple. All you have to do is search for everyone in your database. If I come back here and I was searching my contacts, I would just search for everyone in my database. Let me see here. So if you go over to the contacts, you're going to see it takes me to my contact search screen. If I want to look for everyone in my database, I just click search. It would pull up how many contacts I have. Now, if I want to look for everybody with an email, I can look over here in the email and there's a starts with. I can say is filled. So if it's filled, which means it has an email in there, it's going to pop up that list. So that's how I get how many contacts have an email. And then if you want to do it with the phone, it's kind of the same thing. You go to the phone and email. And for the phone one, you're going to want to make sure, if the phone one is a field that you're using the most, you're going to want to say if it's filled. And it will pop up everybody who has something in that field. Okay. We'll just lay it back to starts with. And that is basically where you get a lot of these numbers. You can see below here, I'm going to move my little guy top here. Down below, you can see my metrics. Percent of lists can be emailed, percent of lists can't be emailed, percent of lists of emails hard bouncing. I found these to be very helpful for clients to see, and that's why I put those 4 down here so that they can see that. I mean, it's pretty simple. 78% of the list can be emailed. 22% of the list can't be emailed. I hope that helps if you've never done this before, or if you do it, but you don't do it on a regular basis. I would say do it on a regular basis. Do it every 30 days if you can. And watch this no engagement metric. Watch that. Because in the end, everybody likes to believe, oh, you know what, someone's going to purchase 3 years from now. But it's often not from an email, right? If they purchase 3 years from now, sometimes they're sending them emails, but it's through another opt-in or an ad or something else that they re-engage with that they come back through and then they purchase, right? If you're sending them emails for 3 years and they never open or click an email, and then 3 years later they open and click an email, you don't see that happen a lot, right? Because they're literally just letting that email hit their inbox and deleting it for 3 years, and then one day they decide to open it. It doesn't happen often. Oftentimes, I find that those emails are actually going to spam. Right? If they go for more than 2 years and they never open it, they just start going to spam or junk box or something like that, right? The ISP gets really smart. But let me know if you have any questions, put them in below, and I hope this helps you guys.